Yo, you guys know Julius Caesar got stabbed by 60 of his own guys?
No, Ted.
I always just thought he got stabbed by his own man. I didn't know it was 60 of them.
That is a little excessive.
That's
I think
crazy,
they could have
bro.
sent 10.
Are you kidding?
Right.
Well, what was it?
It
It was planned out. Like it was a coup. Like they all got ready and like, all right, at X time we're gonna hop him.
Right, basically in the group chat.
That sucks, dude.
Started by Brutus.
They were just like, yo, is it me or is this man tripping?
This guy's kind of an asshole.
It's like, I was going to say something.
Is it so? It was warranted. He was a bad dictator.
He wasn't being the best dictator.
Well, that's normally, it's like mob bosses, you know?
Yeah.
Dead or in jail. That's what they tried to do with Napoleon. They tried to put him in jail and then he kept escaping.
Napoleon?
Yeah,
they
slippery little
exiled him and he came back with the crew. Ted goes, yeah, I'm like, yeah, you know, that's where the famous quote comes from. Eat too, Brutus. You too, Brutus? And Ted goes, man, I need to brush up on my Greek history. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Soup Podcast. I am Bo Oliver, joined here today with Aaron and Teddy, and we are back to talk about the world of Hollywood. Movies, TV, video games, all of that good stuff. We've got some castings to talk about on this podcast, and of course, box office, some upcoming movies, some trouble at Netflix. Good news for Twitter, depending on what side of the aisle you're on. And yeah, listen to this podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all those places where we upload our podcasts to all the platforms. And we actually have some news to deliver on today's podcast.
News.
Good news?
I would say it's good news.
News.
You shutting it down finally?
No, we're not shutting it down. Starting this summer,
Come on.
we are going to begin uploading our podcast episodes to our podcast YouTube channel, and we will link that in the description down below. It's just going to be called the Nerd Soup Podcast YouTube channel. Currently, we have no subscribers, so we're giving you guys 2 months here, because the last time we tried to move our podcast off of YouTube, it was a big mess. I think we gave people a couple of weeks. They weren't ready. So we took them off YouTube, and we got a bunch of emails, comments, tweets. Where are the podcasts? Where are the podcasts? So we're going to move those over to our podcast network. People still listen to the podcast on YouTube, obviously, but we want to move those away from the main channel because they are absolutely bleeding our subscribers. So we're going to give you 2 months here. So June 22nd, it's a Wednesday. That's when we are going to take the podcast off of this channel, move them to the podcast channel, and also our new date for podcasts, Wednesdays. We're moving a day over.
Appreciate that, you know. I'm very
gotta
accommodating.
adjust. Yeah, gotta accommodate. Gotta
Until
keep the
we
team
have to
happy.
change it another day, because pretty soon that's not going to work for you.
Yeah, by the summertime, it's gonna be. So go ahead. Like I said, we'll continue to promote that channel and the upcoming podcasts. And then, you know, this channel will still have reviews and all that other good stuff. You can follow us on social media at Nerd Soup, Bo Soup, Aaron Nerd Soup Monkey, Teddy Nerd Soup, all the platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Facebook, Parler, 4chan, for Teddy's audience. And we have anything else? Oh, Fan Question Podcast. We're actually dropping our very first Fan Question Podcast this Sunday, and that is going to be exclusive for our Patreon members, and it's at the $1 tier. So all you have to do is go to our Patreon page, pledge $1, and you will get access to a Fan Question Podcast. And that's basically going to be a wrap-up where we answer the fan questions that we didn't answer on the legitimate podcast. But I think that's going to be fun.
A lot of podcasts going around.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of time to riff. Like I
to
said,
get our scraps.
that may end up being the better podcast, because some of those
100%.
questions, you know, we could talk about them for hours when we get going, and sometimes we have to cut it short. So I think that's going to be fun. You can visit our Patreon page and check that out. And also, Teddy's superhero polls have finished, wrapped up.
I did it.
We finally have a winner. You're like, I did it, guys. Mission accomplished. The Dark Knight, no surprise there.
I don't know. I kind of thought Spider-Verse was going to give that a good run, but didn't make it out.
Well, Spider-Verse faced The Dark Knight in the semifinal, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, the Final Four. And then it was Infinity War versus Dark Knight.
Yeah.
No one came close to Dark Knight in the whole tournament.
No. And then I did a courtesy poll for Spider-Verse, and
Logan, right?
No, it was Logan versus
The Dark
Yeah, it was
Knight.
Spider-Verse versus Logan.
No, it was Logan versus Dark Knight.
Everyone was mad that Spider-Verse didn't get a chance against the Dark Knight, so I gave it a chance, and the Dark Knight mopped it.
Oh, right. You did that right as well. Hey, man, The Dark Knight.
It's too good.
It's always going to be that way.
Still number one. Babe Ruth at the moment.
Yeah. Well,
The next one's going on the main account, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
yeah. I mean, you did good. You did a good job. You got through it. I'm proud of you.
Thanks. It's very tedious. I'm not going to lie.
Tweeting?
Yeah, but, as I'm working, trying to set up the tweets.
Like typing them?
Like, as I'm at work, trying to set tweets up to send them out.
Yeah, no,
It's
I get
tedious.
it. Okay. Sure.
I'm not home in a comfy couch on my laptop.
That's the thing about Twitter, Ted. You can just do it anywhere. It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah, but I'm in the middle of work, is what I'm trying to say.
Take a break. You work hard. Take 5. Get some water.
Yeah, but tell him to watch, The Lion King in the middle of a workday. He'll get it done.
I'll get that done. I got lunch.
Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand.
I get
you.
things done.
Yeah,
I figure it out.
Yeah, no, you do. I'll give you that. All right, well, let's move on to the topics here. The first one is a big one, Dune Part 2. This isn't confirmed. This is from a leaked casting list, or cast list, that Florence Pugh will be playing Princess Irulan in Dune Part 2. This is a major character. People knew that she was coming, obviously, people who have read the books. The books are basically told from her perspective, in a way. So Florence Pugh is, over the last couple of years, she's been really carving out a path here, becoming a major star. Well, maybe not a major star, but she's on that trajectory. So I think she keeps adding these great credits to her filmography, and I think she's going to be perfect for the role. I think a lot of people are expecting this character to be one thing, and they're going to be surprised when they see it, but Florence Pugh, can't complain about that, man.
No, I think it's a good casting. Austin Butler was in the leak too, right?
Okay.
That makes sense. I mean, we've heard those are a couple of the names that were being floated around when I think this rumor came out like a couple months ago as well. And something official has got to come out soon because they start filming this summer, I believe. So
Yep.
I'm sure once maybe they're just waiting to have the full cast locked in because they still have to do the Emperor, correct?
Yeah.
So maybe they'll just wait to do it all at once, release a press release with all the different castings, which is, I think it's good. I think the hype for Part 2 hasn't really kicked in yet, but once these get confirmed, once filming starts happening, getting some more information out of this, I think that will really start to turn up a little bit. But yeah, like you said, Florence Pugh has been absolutely killing it lately. And I do think she's like a pretty big star now. I mean, we always talk about it, like in the grasp of like film Twitter, like with the Letterboxd crew, like, yeah, everyone loves Florence Pugh, but I think she's starting to make a bit of a name for herself in just a general audience. So, I don't know. And we'll see how Elvis goes. Austin Butler comes out, fucking hits a home run. Everyone is like, wow, this guy can act. And add him to the cast.
It has everything to do with us.
I can't. I told you when we saw that trailer, I want Vietnam Elvis. Was it Vietnam? No, World War II Elvis. I want more World War II. I want World War II and old Elvis. I don't care about the in-between. Tom Hanks. What are you doing?
Yeah, Tom. I don't know what Tom Hanks is doing in that. He's doing something. I can't wait to get the rest of this cast, though. I mean, Austin Butler. People wanted Barry Keoghan. I think both of them.
Isn't too
look
much.
Like they is he? You fell into the trap, the film Twitter trap.
Yeah.
He's just too much. That Barry Keoghan. Once again, like if you showed that to the Saul Hill test, not a fucking clue. Gun to his family's heads. He couldn't get Barry Keoghan. That is not in his brain. But I'm so excited for the rest of the cast. People, like I said, Austin Butler, I also think he has that look. I think he fits it more appropriately than Barry Keoghan. He is supposed to be the antithesis to Paul Atreides. He kind of looks like an evil Chalamet, that would be his competition. He seems like a good actor based on that, he's had some roles here and there.
He's good as Tex. And,
yeah, he was good at his Tex.
And I'm sure, I haven't really seen much, only just from trailers, but it doesn't seem like a bad Elvis. The movie just seems bad.
Yeah, once again, one of those, it's one of those movies that I don't think I necessarily need. But, you don't need any movies these days. I don't know. What about you, Ted? What do you think about Florence Pugh?
I only really know her from Midsommar. And
well, you know her from Black Widow.
Yeah, but she really acted in Midsommar. How do you say that? Midsommar? I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
The easier one.
Midsummer?
Yeah, just say Midsummer. Yeah. It's not temperature.
Yeah, well, she can definitely compete with everyone that's in here, so we'll see how she does in this.
I would have been funny if you just came in so anti-Florence Pugh. Like Skip Bayless.
There's no reason to be anti her.
I can't wait for them to cast the Emperor. Obviously, people have been fan casting him for a long time. I really think the route of going a Benedict Cumberbatch or a Fassbender would be an interesting call there. I know some people have even suggested Charles Dance if they want to go a little bit older, a bit more of a commanding presence.
Give me Fassbender. We talk about it all the time. He needs just a fucking solid role.
I don't think he's been in a movie since Dark Phoenix.
Good. You need to take a break.
Maybe
that
is a good thing. He's just
take a couple of years off, think about what
profile.
you did, and come back. Even though he's very good as that's like one of the only redeeming parts of those like last couple movies is him as Magneto. But yeah, it just sucks the run he's been on has not been great at all, and he's such a good actor.
He is so good. I'll never forgive, and I don't remember who wrote it, who compared him to Anakin Skywalker in X-Men First Class. Oof. I remember I read a review saying that, and then I watched the movie and I thought that was not even close to as bad as a performance.
I think he's good in those movies.
Yeah, me too. And I think he is a great actor. For a long time, I wanted him for young Dumbledore. Yeah, he is. That really got you?
Yeah.
Fassbender for young Dumbledore?
Hell yeah.
I always thought he looked like a young Michael Gambon, and that he could play, because Dumbledore, Jude Law's Dumbledore seems...
I do like Jude Law, though.
He's a great Dumbledore. He seems a bit softer than Dumbledore was in those first 8 movies. Dumbledore's got a little edge to him. Like when he ran up on Harry and choked him out with the Goblet of Fire.
You know, it was a funny...
Put your name in the Goblet of Fire.
We didn't say it in the review, but there was a funny part of that movie when he gives 10 points to Hufflepuff.
No, I hate that.
I thought that was pretty funny.
That. No, don't give her that. J.K. Rowling doesn't deserve that.
No, he
improvised that?
It.
Actually, that's brilliant.
Wait, so in this second movie, is she going to be a huge part in the second movie?
Well, remember when Paul says the princess she's not betrothed? I'll make a play for the throne.
Yeah.
So that's kind of her role here.
Okay.
It's so hard to talk about this character without getting into spoilers.
All right, it's tough then. I got to read the book.
You're halfway there. But remember those the way the chapters start with the little excerpts from a book?
Yeah.
She was the writer. She recounts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Princess Irulan.
There you go. But we'll see how they fill out this movie, and yeah, filming beginning this summer. Can't wait for Dune Part 2. We're going to do a little emergency story. If you guys want to go on over to the Russo brothers Instagram.
What happened?
They released the first images from their upcoming Netflix movie.
No, they're squirming right now. Netflix.
That's a good way to put it, actually, and then we can transition this into our Netflix story. But yeah, first images from The Gray Man, starring Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling as and Anna de Armas, can't forget her. They're 2 secret agents who are hunting each other. It's a globe-trotting action thriller from the Russo brothers. We all know what they've done. You know, their track record after Endgame has been horrible.
What was the
only good thing they've done
Bridge
is
movie?
Extraction?
No, the Bridge movie.
21 Bridges?
Oh, yeah, with Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
I actually never saw that. I want to see it for Boseman. Besides Everything Everywhere All at Once, they have a producing credit on that. Cherry, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Extraction, terrible.
I didn't mind Extraction.
It wasn't terrible. I thought it was fine. It was a fun action flick.
That was the Chris Hemsworth movie, right? Yeah, it was all right.
Do you hate anything these days besides Scream? You give a pass to such crap. I miss the old Aaron.
I just thought it was a fine action.
That's a conversation for another day.
A fine action movie.
Extraction.
I didn't think it was anything crazy. It was cool.
If you guys want to defend Extraction, put that on your tombstones.
Well, yeah, I mean...
have you seen Cherry? Have you guys watched Cherry?
No.
I heard it was god-awful.
Okay, well, maybe watching Cherry, your thoughts on Extraction will lessen. But it looks pretty. The idea of Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling hunting each other across the world.
That's pretty sick.
Right, yeah, it's a good premise.
I like the idea of Chris Evans and a mustache, too.
He does have
he looks good, bro. I love the mustache.
That's a man who got fired from his job for not getting vaccinated.
100%.
Yeah. And Gosling's the one trying to track him down and vaccinate him. Is that the premise?
Should be.
Nowadays, yeah.
This is a sexy ass movie in terms of just like how good looking
the colors.
these characters are. Right, yeah, the colors, sure.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Gosling.
I think it is Evans is the bad guy here.
Oh, okay, good.
Or Gosling's
I
like
think
rogue
that's
and
gotta be
Evans is sent to track him down.
Who are we taking? Early takes right now.
Gosling.
I'm taking Evans.
I'm taking Anna.
Gosling's selective with his roles. He's not picking a loser.
I guess. It's like The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good point. When it comes to this project for the Russo brothers, the fact that Gosling signed on. Now, anyone, you put a check in front of them, they can completely change.
But he's already getting that Barbie money.
He's getting that Barbie money. And even when he picks movies like that, like Crazy Stupid Love, good movie, solid movie. When it's a rom-com, he knows how to pick them well. He's Notebook, right?
Yes.
Damn, he's got a fucking career.
Yeah, he does.
He's one of our like last true movie stars where there's like a mystic quality to him where you don't know too much about him. He's not on social media as often as these other stars. You know?
I love that. Like him, Leo.
Right, Leo's
Like,
another one.
Those guys aren't on social media, and I love.
Well, Leo only posts about the environment.
Right.
That'll just be like a movie poster every now and then.
It's just funny, like the comment you made back when, like how people don't watch the Oscars anymore, really, too, because a lot of time people tune to the Oscars to see celebrities because you haven't seen them in months. It just makes so much sense, and it's nice seeing celebrities that you don't normally like. You're not like we're so tapped into their lives, like we know everything about them, and it's just cool that some people don't follow that.
How much of my takes are you passing off as Aaron's?
I could have
your
sworn he said
family?
that. I really could have sworn he said that.
I could have.
Aaron told me, you guys are about to gaslight me.
Unless he did say it,
think he did say it.
and you're taking credit for it.
No, yeah,
Stop. I can't, because I believed you for a second. Who am I? I like that too. I think even like Denzel's kind of got that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other day I was watching the old Indiana Jones on TV, the third one, and Sean Connery pops up. That must have been so cool for film fans at the time. Oh, a legend. Who's that legend for us these days? You know, I can't wait for Leo to get old so he can show up in a movie and be like, oh, that's the legend. He was so famous when we were younger.
Does De Niro count, or is he still in
Yeah,
all?
he kind of does. But those guys are getting so old.
Pacino looks so old, bro.
You know, it happens, but I'm saying it's, it gets to a point where we need new legends. We need new film legends.
Have you seen Pesci lately?
No.
Between like 50 and 70, who are the legends,
50
It's
and
like-
70.
it's like a
Denzel.
Yeah.
Will Smith's like 50.
Right.
People are old.
At least the guys
Brad
we
Pitt's
grew up
50.
with.
George Clooney.
Right, yeah.
Affleck's getting up there.
Brad
Damon's
Pitt's
getting up
new
there.
movie looks
Leo's even getting up there. The train movie.
So who's ours now? Chalamet, Holland,
Driver.
Chris Evans,
Oscar
Pratt.
Isaac, best actor of his...
Yeah, but he's like 45, right? 40.
I think he's late 30s, early 40s.
I feel like acting's weird. It's like baseball. It's like once you hit 28, you're like, oof, I'm not giving him a second contract. Actors, like you're
It's
40
like
years
60.
old.
You're in prime.
Here's a 20-year franchise.
Yeah, Harrison Ford was like 36 in the first Star Wars. All right, let's stick with Netflix here and let's move on to a more depressing story for them. Apparently, they lost 200,000 subscribers in the first 3 months of 2022.
That's a lot for them.
It's the first time they've lost subscribers in 10 years.
Yeah, but 200,000. It feels like it's nothing. It's like a spit in a bucket.
Right. Well, they're projected to lose another 2 million in quarter two.
I don't get that.
Well, 2 million and 200,000 is a pretty big jump.
It's a huge jump.
Well, it's a projection. It could be at the end of this first quarter is when they started to see those numbers go the other direction, and now they're projecting they're still going the other direction. So we're gonna have a much bigger number for you in quarter two.
Damn, bro.
I mean, everyone's been writing about this and talking about it. Their stock dropped 35%. I think we got my live reaction to that last week. It's
Did
been
you have stock in it?
Yeah, I did. It's been a bad week for Netflix. But hey.
Well, it's something where, I think there are so many different streaming services now where they don't have the, I don't know, like the monopoly or the hold on streaming as they used to. So definitely people are spreading out, trying new things, and kind of, I guess, got to the point where I know, like for me too, it's like I have every streaming service, and at a certain point you're like, well, maybe I should like start looking to skim down on the ones I don't use. I don't, because I'm sick.
100%. I'll never drop, dude.
But like, I'm sure that's a conversation for a lot of people. Like, all right, well, we don't really watch Netflix anymore, and we stick with Amazon. I guess we already get that, so why do we need Netflix?
Right.
It's my, I don't want to say like I kind of predicted this, but I kind of did, Life was easier with cable. You had everything you had just on one box, You didn't have to worry about all these different streaming services. It was just all there, But
it's called a Roku.
Yeah, so
the Roku is just what?
It's called an Xbox.
I rarely watch TV
yeah,
on
and you
cable.
have to get all the streaming services, and then once you pay for them all, it's more than cable.
I rarely watch TV on cable, and Elena's dad, I guess, took off HBO. And with that came a bunch of other channels.
Right.
And I just went back on the cable like during the NBA playoffs. I just went back onto the TV. I'm scrolling through the commercials. I go to the channel. I'm like, oh, what the hell? I got so mad. I'm never on it. But the one time I go on it, I think he saved like $200 when he dropped the HBO.
Well, I keep telling my mom because her cable bill is ridiculous. She's in a position where if she just dropped the cable and paid for the services, she'd be saving money.
Yeah.
But she won't. Because for them, it's cable is if you unplug the cable, the house might burn down.
I feel the same way.
I don't think I've watched
Teddy's like, yeah, totally.
Now I do.
I haven't watched cable probably in a good 2 months. I will
Really?
never get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. You always go back to it. I haven't watched it in so long, and when her dad said he's getting rid of HBO, I'm like, all right, fine, I got Prime, but I didn't know how much came with the HBO package.
So either
And he dropped so many channels, dude.
So I'd just end up streaming on my phone. Well, like if I want to watch a game, or streaming on the TV that has the cable box connected.
Bro, I have Paramount Plus. Why do I have Paramount Plus?
Yeah,
I watched
that's
SpongeBob
nasty.
like once.
That's real gross.
I think I downloaded to watch a SpongeBob episode because I was like dying to watch it, and I never canceled it.
I Peacock. Netflix kind of fell off though. When I go on and try to find a movie, I never end up sticking with it. I usually just go to HBO or I find something on Amazon.
I don't think that's that's more on people having more of a selection than it is on Netflix.
The only thing
Because
is
if you go
Netflix-
searching through Netflix for a movie that you want to watch that you think is something that's going to entertain you, you might not find anything. But if you Google new movies to watch on Netflix, there's new articles like every day. Where it's like, watch this on Netflix, watch this. The amount of content on Netflix that I haven't seen for things that I want to see is there. But naturally, I've been going more to HBO Max because I don't know why. Because it's the new hot streaming service, and they do have a lot of good content.
That's what you're into right now, man.
Yeah.
That's what you go to.
I think the only thing I've consistently watched on Netflix recently is New Girl for like the third time.
On Seinfeld every single day.
But
I'm
like,
watching Seinfeld.
as far as like original
I'm
content,
surprised actually Seinfeld didn't hold him.
Isn't
That's
Better
crazy.
Call Saul on Netflix?
It might be.
what's that?
I think it's that show he keeps asking us to watch.
As far as original content, when's the last time a Netflix show like really took over?
Stranger Things?
Squid Games?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, Squid Game. That's true. Other than that, though, I guess you have.
Right, but when was the
Tiger
last
King.
time, for any of these? I think what Netflix is obviously going to stick around, but people have been poking holes in their business model for a long time, saying throwing all this money, building up all of this debt, eventually it's going to come back to bite you. So I do think they need to be worried about that.
Stranger Things cost $30 million an episode. Red Notice wasn't cheap at all, and that seems like the route they're trying to go. And it seems like they have a identity problem, where it's like, do we want to be the streaming service that gives you the power of the dog, gives you the Romas and prestige movies, or are we just gonna fund projects like Red Notice, or are we just gonna do both? Which it seems like they're kind of
but
doing
isn't
right
every
now.
streaming service doing that?
Yeah, they're just trying to get it. I think they're
See what sticks.
trying to get as much content as they can on there, regardless if it's. I don't think you have to really find an identity, but when it comes to originals, I guess, you kind of, like with HBO, when you have an HBO original, you kind of know what you're getting. You're getting a really good series. I don't remember.
Well, not all the time.
But like their hit rate, much higher. And usually all the ones that do hit are prestigious in terms of critically and with audiences.
Yeah,
And
like Lena Dunham's Girls.
that was a big hit.
Right.
It really was.
In terms of critically, though.
Yeah. but their limited series.
I'll believe you because your eyes got really big.
The limited series always seem to hit. Always sticking around during award season. It's just like
Raised by Wolves.
people like that, I think.
I gotta say though, that they did just up the price, like $2 or $3, and that takes and nowadays that's gotta like piss people off, and I can see people leaving just because they keep raising prices.
$20 a month is too high.
Is that what it is now?
I think that's what it's going to, right?
I'm paying.
It is 20. Yeah, I think it's 20 a month.
But they're doing stupid shit like you're losing subscribers. So what are we going to do? We're going to limit the number of accounts you can use for one subscription.
Only in Costa Rica.
The hell?
Yeah, they're testing that in like Peru, Costa Rica.
What did they do to deserve that?
I think we talked about that on this pod. Yeah, they're just the guinea pigs.
They did them dirty.
Right. Well, when they say that 30 million households are not paying for Netflix, and they want to crack down on getting more people to pay who are using their service, they have opened the avenue to, you can have different amounts of profiles and TV streaming at the same time, but it's going to be limited.
But it's like
so if they still allow that, but if they do crack down on the password sharing, I don't think that this spells doom for Netflix. I don't think, because I think also a lot of these other streaming services are going to die eventually. There's so many of them, and I think a lot of them are going to have they're going to go the way of a CNN Plus. CNN Plus was dead on arrival, but Peacock, Paramount Plus, or CBS doesn't exist anymore. All of these, the variety is eventually going to shrink.
I kind of want to leave Paramount Plus to kind of be part of the, like to start that up. Try and lose subscribers. I'll leave Paramount Plus.
1 of 100?
You think you're gonna?
I'm not hoping.
Why you would actually make a huge difference, like 10% of Paramount Plus.
I'm not helping being a 10%
decrease in subscribers because Teddy.
This man's acting like he's Moses. Like everyone's gonna follow him off of Paramount. But yeah, no. If you do leave and
lead the exodus from Paramount Plus.
Teddy, where are we going?
Where would we go?
I don't know. Hopefully, it doesn't take you 40 years.
Criterion. Be like, oh, we went to someplace
worse.
worse.
Funimation. I go to Funimation.
I think Funimation got one of them took over the other. Crunchyroll or Funimation. They got jammed together into one thing.
I think for Netflix though, if they do decide to what are we going to do going forward? Are we going to keep making the Red Notice? Because those are the movies that I guess are the most popular for them, are like the Bird Box type films. I don't know how well Power of the Dog did on that streaming service. I know we saw it, but even it being so readily accessible for people, I don't know how many people have seen that movie. So maybe they look at that and maybe we won't pick up a lot of these films from these studios and put them on our service anymore. And we'll use that.
And it looks like they're already going that route.
Yeah.
Which would be unfortunate for people who like those types of movies. It seems like it's becoming harder and harder to make movies like that. For a long time, Netflix was praised. Or big time directors praised them for that.
Or maybe it is cheaper for them not to produce their own content and kind of buy the rights of movies like that.
HBO Max is steadily growing, and I think that they're only going to get stronger if House of the Dragon comes out and it's good. That's going to be the thing that really pisses off Netflix because they're so desperate for The Witcher to gain that sort of popularity that Game of Thrones had, and it's just not, no matter how popular it is.
They had it with Stranger Things, but that just kind of, and we'll see when it comes back. Maybe.
How long has it been since Stranger Things 3 came out, though? I think it's been like 3 years.
I think people online don't actually realize, even though it might not seem as popular, I think it's still immensely popular.
Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But it's also... You're not building an empire off of Stranger Things like you could. Game of Thrones, it's lightning in a bottle with the characters, with the merchandise, with the settings, the names. There's so much to monetize in Game of Thrones, and the fact that it was done well. Same thing with Lord of the Rings, same thing with Star Wars. So if that's what they're looking for, you're not going to find that with The Witcher. It's just not that type of show.
I mean, Disney Plus...
They have a Breaking Bad kind of right now, right? They have the whole universe of Breaking Bad.
Disney Plus has it built in. Because regardless of how you feel, what you think of the streaming service itself, the Marvel and Star Wars fans and just the general audience.
The kid shows are huge, bro.
Yeah, the children's base is just a gold mine for them.
But I'm pissed off that they haven't done a better job because, like you said, it is built in. So you can take risks. Now that they're going the route where you can set your profile to, I want to see mature content, that's a plus. But produce more original shows. Produce movies like The Power of the Dog and put them on Disney Plus. Say, hey, this is for the adults. Because you know that you have that built-in audience. You know people are going to come back whenever you put out a Neymar show or Moon Knight 2, Season 2. They're going to come back.
Have they ever dabbled in like a Disney Pixar series? Animated series. I know they have.
Aren't they doing a Monsters Inc. show, or is that already came out?
I feel like those are very much geared towards kids though, like kids television shows.
Yeah,
but like a Soul type of vibe, like something a little bit more heavier, but still family friendly, but as a series. I wonder how that would work or how that would do.
Also, the Star Wars shows,
right? Clone Wars and stuff like that.
Well, streaming wars are underway, fellas.
It seems like Netflix is taking the first L.
Well, speaking of L's, let's move on to U.S. weekend box office. Number 1, we had The Bad Guys, the new animated film from Universal Pictures, came in with $24 million for their domestic debut. Number 2 was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, still running strong with $15 million.
You love using that joke, huh?
Oh boy, 148 domestically, and worldwide. I think it's at it's closing in on 300.
Oh.
No, that's Morbius. Number 3, Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore had a bit of a drop-off here, 66%. It brought in $14 million for a domestic total of $67 over 2 weekends in the U.S. That is not good.
No, that's crazy. You open at 1 and then you get left frog by Sonic, who's been out for longer than you have. That is not good.
Yeah, someone said that the furries leapfrog the turf. Number 4 was The Northman, another debut that...
Damn, $12 million? Jeez.
Yeah, it opened with $12 million on a budget of $90 million. So, focus features.
You guys saw it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Good? No good?
I fucking loved it.
It was good. It was really good. I'm surprised.
Yeah, that's surprising.
This isn't surprising, though.
It's not?
I actually,
Wow.
I thought...
It got a B cinema score. I thought maybe audiences would like it more.
Because it has more crossover appeal.
But
when they
the
actually
B
see
is
the
like-
movie, they might be like, this is a little weird for me. But like, you see that trailer with Skarsgård with his shirt off and Vikings, you're like, oh, fuck, that's pretty dope. I guess people were like, no, it's not kind of dope.
I thought it was incredible. And number 5, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, another movie that opened, you wish it would have opened bigger, but $7 million. So apparently that's one of the best movies of the year.
It's a little surprising, too.
Yeah. Well, also, Alexander Skarsgård, he's famous, but he doesn't have that. I don't think he's got that type of pull. Where I don't know if my mom knows who Alexander Skarsgård is. He's not a household name.
Mom didn't watch True Blood?
No.
No. Well,
My mom was
that's a
obsessed
problem.
with True Blood. I think if I told my mom, if I asked her about Skarsgård, I think she'd know who he is.
She knows who she knows who that is.
She
You watch
definitely knows.
True Blood? You know who he is.
So, not surprised by that.
Nick Cage, I think, still has some weight to his name.
Massive weight?
For like us and adults.
Right, but it's also one of those where you watch the trailer and you go, oh, that's funny. And then you next thought. People just don't like movies, man.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, people just don't want to do this anymore.
People definitely don't want to go to the theater anymore. Unless it's a Marvel movie.
Well, I think for a long time people didn't want to go to the theater, and then the pandemic just gave people the ultimate excuse.
Yeah.
I know people who, they're never going back to a movie theater. I think, the Saul Hill test is ruined because he hasn't been to a movie in 2 years. He didn't even go see The Batman.
It's so
And
weird.
he loves Batman.
Because no matter what, if you talk to somebody like, hey, what are you doing? And they're home, they're either watching a TV show or watching a movie. But it seems like nobody's watching anything at the same time.
No one wants to get out and go to the theater.
Because I think people are just honestly just watch what they know already.
It's not even about COVID anymore. People are just getting lazy now.
I do the same thing, and and I know you guys do too. And if we do it when we're constantly have to watch new things in order to talk about it, but yet we still fall into the same trap of watching New Girl for the fucking third time, or watching Parks and Rec or The Office, and that's what people are mostly
put you
doing.
two in this bubble, don't? I was waiting for you to name the show that I'm always.
I don't know what you're watching right now.
Naruto. Curb? You're in the bubble.
I haven't even seen the new.
Your foot's in the bubble.
I haven't seen the new.
But you're
Curb.
the outlier that watches a 500
Yeah, right.
episode anime, so you're just busy with that.
That is true.
So you don't watch anything new either.
I watch new stuff.
I know, but I'm just saying. But most people go back to like what makes them just comfort
Happy.
watch.
Seinfeld.
Right. You too.
And New Girl
That
gets-
is true.
It gets funny at the third time.
That I mean, I'm becoming that way when it comes to shitty movies. Like when people on their letterbox they log every movie that comes out. I'm just like, I can't sit through Dog with Channing Tatum, or I can't sit through Morbius. I just can't do those anymore because I feel like I'm wasting time. I'm like, oh, there's a movie I haven't seen that I know is
You
a
just know
classic.
it's pointless to watch. You just know it's pointless.
Yeah, and sometimes you find guilty pleasures, but
No, I find myself going back to like, I just watched The Other Guys last week. I've seen it a few times already. Lots of new stuff on, and no, The Nice Guys, I mean, and lots of new stuff, movies I haven't seen. I'm like, I know I like this, so I'm just gonna watch it again, and I had a great time.
But for new TV, people are more willing to dive into something that's new. If they hear the word of mouth, there's just something about the binge model, sitting down on the couch. People can watch 5-6 hours of television, 2.5 hour movie, no thank you. It's just something in our brains, man. It's like the time dilation type of
Because
thing.
you know
Well,
you
no,
can
hold
stop
on,
after 55 minutes.
No, well that
It's so
and
much more comfy.
You feel like you're doing more. Like if you can say you finished the season in
That
the
is true.
same time you can say you watched one movie. It's like I can bang out a whole season right now if I wanted to.
Right, and people make the argument TV is superior because of you can get more into the characters, you could tell more story, you can develop everything. But then a movie like
can do the same
everything
thing in a movie, though.
everywhere, but it's not even about doing the same thing. I think there's a difference where the original Star Wars, you get lost in a world for 2 hours, you feel like you've been there for years, and then you get thrown out, and it's like you've been transported, surrealist experience where I'm back in reality, but I was just somewhere else for 2 hours. That is what makes movies special, and I think movies have that quality more so than television does.
Right.
That's what makes a great movie, but people don't give a fuck.
But how often are people getting that experience when you're sitting home on the couch with numerous distractions while watching a movie, no matter what movie it is?
Right, well, going to the theater, and the distractions is a good point too.
But, it's just,
Yeah, the fact that I can be on my phone and just like it's in the background and I'm watching,
Yeah, a lot of times if I'm going to sit down and watch a movie these days, I do turn off my phone.
Are you really?
Yeah, because
I
I
don't
don't
turn
want
it off, but I'll put it far
That's
enough
bold.
away from me where it'll inconvenience me to get it, so I just don't even bother with it.
You know what happens when I watch movies? I start thinking of other movies that I want to look up on Letterboxd and see what people think about them.
I don't post on Letterboxd. I've forgot about that again. I mostly do it because I don't want you to see what I'm watching instead of your recommendations.
Yeah, I was ready to chew you out for that, but then you stopped posting. I was like, this man made a letterbox and just rewatched every Batman movie.
Yeah. No, I'll probably log the movies that I've missed, that I've just seen new releases. I also don't like.
Yeah, what is with you not logging the new releases?
I just forget sometimes. Then
That's how I was when I
they all
first got
build
on.
up, so I have like a bunch of movies. I don't want to log them all at the same time. I don't want to spam people's pages.
Well, you can
You
set
should
the
want
date
it.
when you watch them.
You should want to do that though.
Spam people's pages?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I go on Letterboxd. I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but he follows me on Letterboxd. Sin K. He's watched like 800 movies this year. Every time I go on
Jesus.
Letterboxd, it's another 3 that he watched. It makes me feel so guilty.
If that's how it is, I'd want to like up the next person and watch more.
Yeah, I think there was at first when I really got into Letterboxd, I was like, I need to watch and log and log, and then I saw the way some people watch, and I'm like, they do that for a living, so fuck them.
So do you.
I'm not gonna. Well, we had to watch fucking
Yeah.
Naruto.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. Speaking of movies we won't watch, Michael Mann's Ferrari, starring Adam Driver, Penelope Cruz, and Shailene Woodley, will begin filming this summer. This is a movie that's been long in development, a bit of a passion project for Michael Mann about Enzo Ferrari. Pretty sure he was the founder of Ferrari, and he was also
Makes you think that.
Is this part of like the Ford versus Ferrari
a
universe?
race car driver. Yeah, it is. I think so.
Is it really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is Adam Driver in Ford versus Ferrari?
No.
You never know. It might be in the background.
Yeah, Christian Bale's
I'll watch it again. I'll keep my eye open.
Christian Bale's a Force Ghost. Have you seen Ford versus Ferrari?
No.
I actually really like that movie.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
It was such a dad movie, but I loved every second of it. You would love that.
I guess I gotta
movie.
watch it now.
Yeah. It was so good.
I'm
James
a dad
Mangold, man, he's legit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a dad now.
Not yet.
So this is set during the
Couple
summer
weeks.
of 1957. Ferrari is retired. Apparently he's going bankrupt. He's having issues with his wife. So he decides to unretire and race in the iconic long race in Italy. I'm not going to try and pronounce it.
Come on, let me hear the music.
Apparently Hugh Jackman was supposed to star in this, but Adam Driver working in to talk about a guy who knows how to pick his movies. When you look at the directors he's worked with and now going to Michael Mann, I think this is so awesome to see them collaborate with each other. I've always said that Adam Driver, or a lot of people have said this, he's the modern day De Niro. So one of...
You've said that? I don't think so.
De Niro, one of his best performances, Michael Mann's Heat. And I love this style of movie. I don't think it gets made enough. I think that's why I loved Ambulance so much, because it felt like I mean, Michael Bay's obviously a similar filmmaker, but it felt like Michael Mann, Tony Scott, early 2000s adrenaline rush.
I think, I mean,
What'd you say?
What?
Go ahead.
No, I think you nailed it pretty good. Adam Driver, I mean, talk about someone who really picks their movies pretty well. I mean, I don't know, the Gucci, whatever. I didn't see that, but I hear it's not the best.
Gucci, whatever.
The Gucci movie. House
the
of
Gucci. Gooch, yeah.
I once watched it on a plane, but I was like, no. It's just in case the plane goes down. I don't want that to be my last film.
There could have been worse.
Right, but
it's worth a watch. I think it's worth checking out because he's awesome in it.
Well,
he's good in everything.
Yeah, and like his run over the past few years. Talk about someone who's really making a name for himself. He is fucking fantastic. Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know. Is it going to be? It's a race movie, I guess, or is it about the race?
Well, Shailene Woodley is playing his mistress.
Ooh, scandalous.
So yeah, there's going to be some family drama. Imagine similar to House of Gucci. You know?
Think that's why she divorced Aaron Rodgers?
You think something was brewing on this set?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, I couldn't blame her.
Adam Driver, Donald Driver used to play for the Packers.
Who are you taking?
I'm connecting the dots here.
Adam Driver or Aaron Rodgers?
As a man?
As a spouse?
No, like if you're Penelope.
Well, Shailene.
Yeah.
Shailene Woodley was the one who dated Aaron Rodgers.
Oh. I thought Penelope Cruz dated Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers seems like a scumbag. So
He
I'm
does.
thinking Adam Driver also seems
His
like
whole
he's got
family
like...
hates him.
Yeah.
Or he hates his family. Regardless, something's brewing there. Yeah, Adam Driver seems nice.
Oh, I was going to say he seems like an arrogant actor.
Really?
Yeah, like when he got that standing ovation for Annette and he started smoking a cigarette indoors.
Yeah, it's badass.
I think he was forcing it a little bit there. I think he was trying to be badass.
making
I
a
do
statement.
love him. But that's a good point. Penelope Cruz. I mean,
Yeah, smoke. You
actually,
just sat through
an
a-
accurate point that you made.
Just sat through a 2-hour feature.
Right, yeah, you need to recharge the lungs.
First thing I do after I leave a film.
Penelope Cruz in this as well, and she was terrific in Parallel Mothers. So, you know, she's got that crossover appeal where she's a star for us, she's a star back home. And I think the two of them together, that's going to be such a fun pairing. It doesn't sound like things are going so great for them as well. And she's still sexy as ever. She's such a great on-screen talent. You know, she's one of the best we still have working today. But that's an interesting love triangle there because Shailene Woodley in real life is such a weirdo. I don't know if she'll bring any of that weirdness to her character. Just a thought. All right, last story here before we move on to fan questions. We have M. Night Shyamalan provides an update on his new movie, which is called Knock at the Cabin. I think it's going to be a musical starring Dave... I'm just kidding. It's going to be a horror. It's starring Dave Bautista, Nikki Amuka Bird, and Rupert Grint. The latter two have worked with him on Old and the Apple series Servant, and this is obviously Bautista's first Shyamalan movie. But Shyamalan, for me, he's very hit or miss. Hated Old, liked Split a lot, and I'm actually coming around on Glass.
Really?
Yeah, I am. I'll talk about that on a later date. But like I said, he's hit or miss for me. So I like that Bautista's in this. You know, he's another one where he's going the unconventional route for a WWE wrestler.
You almost
He
forget
oddly
that.
does pick great movies.
You almost forget that he was in WWE.
I used to hate him. when he was with Triple H, Randy Orton, and Ric Flair.
I feel like his name is bigger in Hollywood.
Was he a heel or a face?
They always flip-flop. I think he came on as a heel. He was kind of like just a muscle.
I remember hearing that he was always frustrated by the way he was used in WWE and that the fan reception always got to him, that he was a sensitive guy.
He was never like a... Even when he was more of a face, he was never like a...
The biggest star?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just didn't have like that charisma, I guess. Which
it's
is
funny.
weird
He's
to
better
say
as an
because
actor.
he's a good actor.
Yeah. I could see that, though. It's almost like the charisma that The Rock has translates better to the ring than it does on the big
100%.
screen. Because Bautista, to me, has a better presence on screen.
The Rock hasn't had a movie line as powerful or impactful as "Shut Up, Bitch."
I love when you said that.
When did he say that?
No, like in the ring. Shut up, bitch.
Oh, I thought you were saying Dave Bautista.
That or if he'd ask somebody a question, and they'd be like, no, we don't give a damn. It'll like cut them off.
Shut up, bitch is so funny. The reaction in the background.
Yeah, charity. That guy was so horny.
Oh, yeah.
You don't remember that as a kid?
I never watched wrestling.
Oh, man.
See, you don't listen. I can't trust anything that you think I might have said on the podcast.
You can't trust what I say.
Because back then,
Well, I
I
already
say
know
something
that.
like
Yeah.
like the way the wrestling now is rebranded their women competitors, like now it's more of like they're part of the show, they're athletes, and they promote that. Back then, it was just like bra and panty matches.
Oh, yeah. I loved it.
Well, on that note, let's move
And
on
this
to
man would go fucking berserk.
Worse Than Nash?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
usually you call them puppies.
Well, though, yeah. Interesting.
But I mean,
Based on what I know about wrestling, I could never imagine that they objectified women.
Oh no, it was bad, but those are the days.
It almost sounds like you missed them.
But
Fan questions?
we didn't even talk about the story.
M. Night?
Yeah.
He literally
Why are you
gives,
coming around on Glass? Or how are you coming around on Glass? Why did you rewatch Glass?
I'm coming around on Glass.
Why did you rewatch Glass?
I'm not going to say that I love the movie. I always really enjoyed Samuel L. Jackson's performance.
Mm-hmm.
This is an overused phrase, but I do like the way it does subvert a lot of the expectations for superhero stories. Maybe it could have been a better script, but I give him so much credit for going that route. And I think that was something that was totally lost on me the first time I saw it. I didn't appreciate it enough.
Fair. I mean, I don't think you can ever criticize M. Night for not having ideas.
Yeah.
He almost has too many ideas and tries to do too much.
It's a good point, Ted. But I don't think there's... I do want him to come out with an absolute banger. And you could say Split was that.
I think so. I think you could say Split. Financially, it made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
It's iconic. I think James McAvoy's character is
Yeah, the
very
Beast.
iconic.
Yeah.
Patricia, the little kid.
Dude, he was so good in that movie.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
yeah.
Pretty much like her coming out party, really.
She was great in that too, man. That look she gives him in the car. Those big-ass eyes. All right, fan questions.
She does got some big-ass peepers.
Big-ass peepers. Her and Emma
She
Stone.
just be looking at things.
Yeah.
That's for the fan to decide.
People you call up to the show, you better be ready. That's what you're supposed to do. Sitting there arguing and you're trying to spell your name and all of this other stuff. It's not your show, it's my show. I'm giving you the opportunity to speak your mind. Don't call up here unless you got something to say.
This question here from Chris Donaher. Has Teddy learned who Freddie Mercury is yet?
What? Yeah. I know who he is.
Okay. Was there a moment where you didn't?
I
don't
think it was
think so.
him watching Bohemian Rhapsody and not realizing certain songs were Queen's.
No.
I do remember
Yeah.
you saying that. It's like, oh, I found out. I didn't know Queen sang this song while watching Bohemian
You
Rhapsody.
said you did the same thing.
Not for that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Ted.
I remember you saying that. Trust me.
Now you're gaslighting me.
Yeah,
Trust me.
this was a couple of podcasts ago. We were talking about musical biopics, and you said that they're good because they can expose you to music you haven't heard.
Yeah,
And you
which
said
I
that's
agreed
how you
with.
discovered Queen.
And then I found that ridiculous.
Oh.
Yeah, he was upset by that. It's a funny moment.
Play the tape. I don't believe it.
This question here from Kane. Maybe we'll get you guys to watch Better Call Saul. Can we talk about how incredible of a villain Lalo Salamanca is in Better Call Saul? In my opinion, he has topped Gus as my favorite Breaking Bad villain.
What?
Tony Dalton. You know who this guy is? He was the sword guy in Hawkeye.
Is there validity in what he said?
Yes. This guy's terrifying. What makes him so terrifying, where Gus, you can never read him, this guy's like cartel Joker. Which South Park has already done. Mexican Joker. No, he is, you also can't read him, but he's always got a smile on his face. He's literally the guy from Hawkeye with a machete instead of a sword. Yeah, he's terrifying.
Damn.
Passing Gus? I mean, Gus is cooking up some shit in Better Call Saul, too, man. I don't know. Gus is so good.
You want to start it? If you do it, I'll do it.
I have a lot on my plate. I don't
I'll
watch
do it without you.
Ozark.
I'll do it without you, and I'll have that over your head. I'm doing it.
You want to, but you won't.
You won't.
No.
Yeah, well.
You're very much like Manny. It's just got to be right timing for you. You got to stumble into it one day. It's got to be perfect.
It's honestly, yeah, if I see it on TV and I get into it.
Right.
I will still
See in
start
a
binging.
moment.
I think I say it every time we talk about Gus. That first introduction to him, when he changes his voice when he's talking to Walt, just those like minor inflections, just posture
In the
changes.
restaurant?
It's just such great acting.
It's terrifying. It really is. I'll never forget that, man, watching him the first time sit down at the table. You just know right away when he changes his voice, this guy's legit.
Dude, he is fucking terrifying.
No, I was scared for Walt. A line that always stuck with me was when Mike is yelling at Walt and calls him a time bomb. He's like, "We had Fring, and everything ran like clockwork."
Yeah. And the funny thing is, too, he looks like a McDonald's manager.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And then he turns into the scariest human being you've ever seen.
He's so nice to his employees, too.
Yeah. I always feel bad for Gus. Like he's a dick, and not a bad guy, but like he's kind of nice. Gus? I don't know, the whole story when he first like the flashbacks with him and his partner and how they did him dirty like that. And even when he like cooks for Jesse.
That has scarred me for life.
Mhm.
You're not in Chile anymore.
But when he comes back and poisons everybody.
It's amazing. They gave Gus his own little hero arc. That was one of the best episodes. And when Mike walks up on and chokes that dude out, Mike is such a fucking gangster. This question here from Cozy Baby. Any thoughts on the Pycelle deleted scene? In my opinion, could have added a lot to the character. You've seen this, right? With Tywin?
Is that the one when Tywin's fishing?
Yeah.
I never liked the fake Pycelle. I just found it odd. And especially without that scene when they implement it into the show, it's just out of nowhere.
This scene could have definitely benefited the show by showing us that it is more of an act, or showing us, hey, maybe it shouldn't be.
Because even in season 2, I believe, when he's like done having sex with one of the
and he's
prostitutes,
getting into his
and then he just does this little stretch thing, and like he's stretching, he's cracking his back, and then he goes into his little slump, and they never really go anywhere with it. I just like. You see it flash throughout the series with that character, but nothing's ever done with it.
I love that scene. I love it more for Tywin. I love seeing Tywin with his pants down, how he enjoys his free time, fishing, being a man. He's got his sleeves rolled up. Like when you first see Tywin and he's gutting the
stag.
The stag. I love that scene because of how he's able to operate without missing a beat. He's scolding Jaime and just butchering that poor animal.
That's cool. Like definitely on the nose, but the way it is done, I think, is actually pretty well done.
This question here from Jack Ashby. What's a film or films that took you a long time to understand, but once you found meaning in it, you really began to love it? My answer would be Inland Empire, David Lynch's Inland Empire. First time I watched it, I didn't like it. I don't know what it means. No, I think I did. With Lynch, it's impossible to pin it down. But I think I appreciated more after I read Roger Ebert's review. And that made me revisit it and then really like it up until the point where I say it's top 3, top 2. Also, The Tree of Life, Terrence Malick's Tree of Life. These are 2 movies that if you watch them when you're a teenager and you like them, you're probably smarter than me. That's another one where I watched it and I thought, this is pretentious crap. This is bullshit. And then it took me until 5-6 years later when I read more reviews about it. I heard more people talk about it. I didn't appreciate non-narrative filmmaking at that time, you know?
Yeah.
Even though I loved it's funny because I watched most of Lynch's movies before watching Inland Empire, and then I didn't like it, but I just wasn't ready for it.
I think even if you've watched Lynch movies, Inland Empire is still a big punch in the face.
That is, yeah. It's a tough movie to watch. It's long as fuck. It's the weirdest one. It's got bunnies, sitcom bunnies.
I'm trying to think.
I can't think of the name, but the TV show, the Netflix TV show, that me and you reviewed.
Midnight Mass?
No, I watched it I had to watch it twice. And I got halfway through a third time.
Dark? Squid Game?
No, me and you reviewed it. It was just me and you. What the hell was it?
Stranger Things?
What movie was it? It
was
with
a movie?
yeah, it was with
what's
his
I'm thinking
face?
of
It was with
Ending Things.
I'm thinking of Ending Things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, but that's when you were actually really good on that review.
I watched it almost 3 times. Are you kidding?
That's where you the ending of that review. I'll never understand where the fuck you pulled that out from.
Honestly, it was I don't know I don't know how I got that either.
It hit you in real time too, which was outstanding.
What was it?
It was just so weird because it's just it's like so obvious, but it's not.
Well, there's that scene when he talks about if you can't see what's happening in a painting, you can't, you can't
interpret how the painter is painting something. So it's like the way the movie ended, I forget his name, is dead in a car.
Yeah.
But the car is in the scene, but everything around the car is beautiful. It's like a gorgeous day. It's amazing. But there's someone dead in the car.
I think it was snowing out. Yeah.
No, it was it snowed. The
driving conditions were horrible.
No, it snowed the night before, but the sun was out. The snow was on the trees, blue skies.
Loki, the funniest part of that movie is the Robert Zemeckis bit when they're watching that fake movie and it's just directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah, that is funny. I totally forgot about that.
And then just how awkward that whole drive, the opening drive-in was.
I could go for a rewatch of that.
Me too.
That was such a good movie.
I always I don't hesitate, but when I'm going to rewatch movies, I always I don't really pick those type of movies to rewatch, which I probably should do more often. But even something like Annihilation, which I love, I've rewatched it, but that's a movie that I don't know. I feel like it's just, even though I do enjoy it and I want to rewatch it and get that experience, it's just not something I can just sit back and vibe to. I have to be really in the mood to.
That's how I am when it comes to French movies. I need to be in a mood for French movies, man. I need to be I need to feel pretentious. I need to feel like I'm better than people. Something good has to happen in my life, and I have to be craving cigarettes.
Are you kidding?
They're just so, because if I'm not in the mood for a French movie, I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna be this is like the Family Guy joke. Every time I watch a French movie, it reminds me, a good-looking man smoking a cigarette is not a movie.
I wanted to rewatch
hilarious.
Petit Maman, but I just don't want to read.
Yeah, right.
I know what happens, so it's
right.
It's a fine film, and it's really good.
Yeah, anime's tough when you're trying to eat.
I've always, yep.
I tried doing that the other day. Yeah, I just had to
watch the dub.
It's impossible.
Never.
Just do it. It'll liberate you.
I always somebody months ago was like, Bo needs to stop lying about watching the sub to he's trying to be cool. I'll never understand some people on the internet, bro.
I think with animation, it's I think it's more forgivable, but I really, really, really even more so in recent years, live action, I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you're watching a dub.
Yeah. I remember
100%.
Bought a Jackie Chan movie collection a few years back, and it came on dub, and I was horrified. But I don't think it had a setting for the sub. But it was funny because everyone else was dubbed with other people, but Jackie Chan just did his own dub. So it was it didn't fit, but it was still Jackie Chan.
Yeah. But yeah, you lose so much. But you'd be shocked to realize how many people watch Squid Game with with a dub over.
No, I couldn't do it.
That to me is unforgivable.
It's insane.
Yeah, I don't get that whatsoever.
You have to be so invested though if you're watching the sub. You can't turn away for a second.
No, you really can just miss something, and it's not like you can pick it up with context.
No.
Like if you're just overhearing it, because you really just, you don't understand the language, so that's really hard to do.
I'm actually going to take one more question, then we'll wrap it up. This one here from Nick Lester. Do you think that there's been a changing of the guard with the recent success of shows like Peacemaker and movies like The Batman compared to the stuff that Marvel has been putting out with Moon Knight, Eternals, Hawkeye?
It's not a bad point.
They're coming. They're definitely putting out their best efforts of the last few years. And I think a lot of people would argue they've been on this trajectory with Aquaman. Most people liked it, the first Wonder Woman. So now it seems like it's like back-to-back projects are consistent. So that's rare for DC. But yeah, the Peacemaker show was great. Very funny. Excited for season 2. The Batman, I almost watched it this weekend. I had to resist.
What?
But I didn't want to. 3 hours, man,
Part
You
of the
could
problem.
skim through a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a changing of the guard, because they're still very much doing different things. Like DC, just from like what they've said recently and what their plans are going forward, it's still like a bit up in the air, like what actually is their identity going to be to go forward. But I mean, Warner Brothers also got to realize, and I think they did say this at the CinemaCon, that like they are going to invest a lot into Matt Reeves' Batman universe. That alone can kind of match Marvel. When you think about Batman's popularity and the different avenues they can go with that.
And get the quality that they did with this, and
yeah, maybe not monetarily and box office wise, but critical acclaim, of course it can. But Marvel's always going to have a stranglehold in just consistent money-making content. And I don't really think at this point you can really match them if you're DC. You just got to carve your own lane and do your own thing. Yeah, let Marvel make all the money at the box office. We're still going to make our money at the box office, but we're going to get nominations. We're going to be in Emmys. We're going to be at the Oscars.
DC needs a Superman. Like a really good Superman. And then I think they can compete with Marvel.
Yeah, with what Marvel has is so special. It's become so ingrained in our culture when a new Marvel movie comes out. It's such an event. So many people have watched them. If they release Avengers 5 next week, it would do $2 billion. If it came out and it was good. That's the other thing with Marvel is they put these movies out and they get 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. DC, now there are reports that Discovery, the merger, they want to reshake DC, and now there's, people are worrying that we might not even see the Batman 2. Because that's how ridiculous DC has been over the years, where they're finally gonna go for the reboot after they delivered one of the greatest Batman movies ever. Even though we've been calling for the reboot for years,
dude,
it's not working, reboot it, and now they finally.
You can do the reboot and just start with the Batman.
These executives,
because what they'll come out, they'll say, no, we need Harry Styles to play the Batman. That's how we're going to compete with Marvel.
Well, maybe DC's turning the page.
But you have to think, the people who are now going to be in charge of DC aren't... They said, the report was that they want a Feige, but the last time they tried to get a Feige, it was Jeff Johns, and he was an utter disaster. Feiges just don't fucking grow on trees. It's not like Marvel interviewed Feige and said, hey, you're a genius with Cyclopedia of Marvel knowledge in your brain. You want to run Marvel Studios? No, it happened organically. It happened natural.
And you're a good
Feige was a
director.
producer on X-Men 1. He was the one who told him to make Wolverine's hair spiky. So he's been in the game.
I mean,
do you have someone like that just lying around, DC?
These executives are like...
They're not fans, and then Feige became a fan executive, and it's worked. But that's not going to happen again.
They look at Marvel and say, well, we have our superheroes. We have DC. That's supposed to be your equal. Why aren't we making the same money? Why aren't we having success they are? Do that. They can't just take a good Batman movie that fans fucking love and critics love. Maybe it didn't make $1 billion, but it's going to be relevant for a while, and it's something that fans wanted and people want to see more of. But they're too obsessed with seeing what the other side is doing with Marvel and wanting to replicate that. So they're just going to keep trying until they do it. That's not their way to go.
Yeah,
but they're trying with these standalone films now, where they shied away from the.
Right, but
universe,
if they're going in this different direction, where it is going to be standalone movies, and then they go away from that entirely, I think you're going to be frustrated as a fan, because they've set up expectations.
But why can't the reboot just start with the Batman? Like has to start when they say reboot, has to start completely fresh.
Nothing's set in stone, so we don't even know if this is going to happen. I think Pattinson's still such a young guy. maybe the movie didn't make as much as they want, but they have something to build off of.
Yeah, but
I
exactly.
think we'll get
you build off of
sequels.
this now. You do a Batman 2, now it will do the money that it's supposed to do.
Right, and there was a recent report that Leslie Grace, I think is the name of the actress who's playing Batgirl, that's moving from HBO Max to the theaters. So that seems to be a good sign for
The
not
universe?
rebooting the universe. But until
Will
next
always be
time,
here.
that is the Nerd Soup Podcast. Thank you guys for listening today.
Real quick, do you ever think there'll be a time when Marvel just ends? The last Marvel movie? Or it's just going to be never
No, it's
ending?
never going to end. There's too much money to make.
Like a Marvel pause. I think eventually they'll want to reboot everything and then just keep going off of that. But dude, not in the foreseeable future. They're going to keep this bitch going.
I guess,
So even feel
I
like
guess
if
to your
they
point,
do a reboot, like, all right, let's say in 20 years they do a reboot, right? New Captain America, new Steve Rogers, new Tony Stark. I still even think that would just be alternate universe.
Yeah,
Where you
yeah.
can see Tom Holland Spider-Man come and they'll have that fucking crazy moment. And it'll end up being all shared again.
you got to want to, as a studio, make Iron Man again. There's so much money to make Iron Man, Captain America.
Right. Joss Whedon used to talk about that, why he doesn't kill off characters. It's it's hard to kill off $1 billion franchise in your team-up movie.
Yeah.
So if he kills off Iron Man, you want to kill off Iron Man near the end, in Endgame. But yeah, if they announce once again, if Iron Man 4 came out next Friday, it would make $2 billion. Robert Downey Jr.,
Oh, yeah.
Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow, the gang's coming back, $1 billion, $2 billion,
How do you...
3?
I wonder how you would... Like, do you have to end Phase 4 and then reboot Iron Man?
No, I think there's going to be a new Iron Man in Phase 4.
Oh, yeah?
Riri Williams, right?
Yeah, they're setting up a younger Iron Man. I think that's the route they want to go, where it's a lot of these new castings are going to be young actors, like Tom Holland being in his
Yeah.
mid-20s, early 20s, Haley Steinfeld, America Chavez, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, that they're going that route where it's, these actors where Aaron says if they reboot it in 20 years, well, in 20 years, Tom Holland's going to be like, 44, he might still be good looking.
Yeah. Oh, might. He
He's
might
ugly,
still,
no shot, you're
he
coming
might
back.
still look 20.
Right. Especially with the, you look at so many actors like Chris Evans, he looks like he could play Captain America for another 15, 20 years. He still looks, even Robert Downey Jr., he's, 57 years old. He looks good for his age. So
It's nice because his character wasn't taxing on him either.
right,
like,
yeah.
physically.
It wasn't like a Batman.
Yeah.
He was mostly just standing in front of a green screen or on set. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see, man, what the fucking Marvel movies are gonna do. But yeah, Nerd Soup Podcast. Listen, like, subscribe, share, comment. What do you guys think? Marvel forever? It's Rick and Morty, right? Rick and Morty forever. All right, guys. See you next week.
Damn, we were making some good points in that video. Hey guys, Aaron the Nerd Suit Monkey here. Before we end this video, I want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. What can I say about you guys that I haven't already said about myself? You are the most important part of the channel and the main reason we keep going strong. Like Bo says, you keep the lights on in the fridge so the fridge is full. Or something like that. So, from everyone here at Nerd Soup, I'd like to thank you guys for your continued support. If you're interested in joining the ranks of our patron supporters, head over to patreon.com/nerdsoup and check out the rewards we offer to our patrons. We recently dropped some new stickers for you guys to check out, or you could choose a tier that will allow you to select a movie, show, or video game for us to review. We've got a full slate of fan-suggested reviews coming your way, and we're really excited about the chance to review some of those movies and shows. We've also got t-shirts, mugs, behind-the-scenes videos showing how we bring our videos to life. And once again, thank you to all our Patreon pledgers who have been supporting us throughout the years. Without you, we wouldn't be able to convert all your pledges into cryptocurrency, so thank you from my future self for making us rich.